Come on over by your bottles, please.
You're rolling at 5 minutes.
Okay, Shalom Aleichem, live at the Grapevine. This is the Kosher Wine and Spirit Review at this point. And this is Kosher Spirit Review, and today we have a local. Well, kind of. Rochester, that is. We're here in Muncie/Wesley Hills, New York. Please introduce yourself. Give us a little background on what you're doing, what all this is, and let's introduce it.
Perfect. My name is Jason Barrret. I'm the head distiller of Black Button Distilling up in Rochester, New York. We're a grain-to-glass operation manufacturing bourbon, gin, vodka up in Rochester, New York, all from local products.
So when he's saying from local products, he's not saying he's, how should I say, buying something from the state next door that happens to be closer than New York City to him. He's saying it's all New York grain to glass. They're fermenting the grains from New York. They're getting the water. They're not shipping in Kentucky water, kids. Okay? And I mean that sincerely because a lot of people think bourbon has to be from Kentucky as well. I'm pretty familiar with the laws of bourbon, but can you give over our audience, since you're from a distillery,
Yeah.
what are the laws of bourbon?
So that's actually one of the questions we get all the time. Bourbon is a distinctly United States product. It can be made anywhere in the United States. It has to be 51% corn, aged in a new charred American white oak container. It does not have to be aged for any specific length of time, although straight bourbon certainly does. And it has to come off the still at under 160 proof, be aged in the barrel for under 120 proof, and be served at no less than 80 proof. So those are the rules of bourbon.
Clear? Okay, good. Now, go to all the bottles you have at home and check it out. Look to see if it says aged less than, aged more than, or has a statement. Or if it even says the word bourbon on it, even though it's a brown spirit that's made in America. You might be surprised at what you find that doesn't necessarily have all these words on it that signify or deem it to be something that we're being told it is. This is the real thing. What type of wood are you using?
So we're using Minnesota white oak. So that tighter grain white oak is going to have more flavor, more extraction than trees that are grown down in the South or the Mid-Atlantic. And actually just starting this year, we're actually starting to harvest some of our own trees, and we're going to have barrels made from New York wood.
Please plant 2 after taking 1.
We definitely do.
Okay,
They're all
good.
sustainably harvested.
Okay, so this is your 4 grain. This is a bourbon whiskey. It has local corn, wheat, rye, and malted barley, and it's 42% alcohol, aka, or also known as 84 proof. It's 22 months in your 30-gallon barrels minimum,
Yep.
because the only statement you can ever put on a bottle is the minimum, not the max. There are older juice flowing in this bottle. Give us a little background while I give it a smell on what got you to make it like this.
So what really inspired our bourbon was the fact that I'm a bourbon Manhattan drinker. And if I make a bourbon Manhattan for myself, I'm starting out with 2 parts bourbon and some sweet vermouth. Typically it's a wheated bourbon with a splash of rye. So our bourbon is predominantly a wheated bourbon with 9% rye.
Right. So rye is going to give you like a spicy characteristic, or cherries, or sometimes like a rising, a doughy, yeasty kind of thing. This one, only a hint of any of that in the background. You really feel the sweetness of a good fresh corn. The wheat is more backbone. It's not like, hi, I'm a wheat sandwich. It's not at all.
No.
Wheat helps whiskey become softer, to me.
Yes.
Anyways.
Softer, smoother, and it sort of helps to mellow out some of that corn. And then the spice from the rye really comes through right at the end.
I may have tasted this once, but I never sat with the glass. I never sat with the bottle. This is the first time I've ever met this gentleman. There's no cheating going on here. I'm not describing flavors on notes in front of me, and neither is he. All right, let's give it a smell. Right, soft. The wood is very clean, very soft. No power to it. If it's caramely, everybody, it's more like just like a little drizzle going on, a little bit of vanilla. It's really a pretty soft and beautiful smelling whiskey. You can tell it's young, but it's lively and clear. Let's give it a taste. It's a life, and it's
Cheers.
wonderful gifts. Baruch atah Adonai Shalom, she'akol nihiyah bidvaro. Okay. Lot of good flavor on the finish.
Thank you.
Real smooth and soft coming in. Instead of heat coming on the backside, tons of flavor. This is where you get, it's kind of fun. The whiskey tastes older than what it deems to be. I think
Well,
that's
some of it is, don't forget.
right from the quality of how you're making it. No rough edges at all. A lot of spice on the finish, though. Again, softer candies, little bit of vanilla, nice wood, and smooth